Welcome to Iridium Rock and Metal Reviews, and today, as promised, it's our first episode involving subscribers talking about top tracks from bands. And the first subscriber I've got on with me today is Mark Cloer, all the way from South Carolina. How you doing, Mark?
I'm great. How are you, Lee?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. It's good. So we're doing the Stryper top 10.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
How hard was it for you? It was bad for me.
Very hard. I've been a fan since the first EP came out in '84, and I've seen them seven times in concert, and I've got everything they've ever recorded, and they're definitely in my top three bands. My rankings change a little bit from time to time, but yeah, it was real hard to narrow it down to 10 for sure.
So yeah, for me, I had a little bit of a head start for you because when I did the ranking of the Stryper albums, I've ranked all the songs. So I had all my tens.
Sure.
I had a lot more than 10 tens,
Sure.
but that's all I like to look at really is all my tens. So I was quite lucky really with this one. So
Yeah, this ought to be fun. I'm in full Stryper geek mode this morning, as you can see. I've got my No More Hell to Pay shirt.
that's a cool
Stryper
t-shirt.
hat. I dug this poster out of a closet. I bought this poster at the first concert I saw in 1987.
Oh man.
I didn't even know I still had it, but I found it about a year ago when I was going through looking at some paperwork. And I drug it out for the occasion.
Oh, that's cool. And I've got my custom made for my daughter
Oh, yeah.
for my birthday.
Yeah, I've even got my Stryper Bible.
Oh wow.
Stryper mask to keep the mask Nazis at bay.
So did you catch the Bible or did you buy it?
No, I ordered a T-shirt from Michael's website years ago, and he sent it as a bonus and autographed it. Yeah.
So as you probably know, looking at the channel, I'm not actually a Christian. I just love the band. So
Right.
What about you?
I am a Christian. My father was a minister, but the message is not really the reason I like Stryper. I mean, I'm like you. It really doesn't matter what the lyrics are. My other top two favorite bands are Kiss and Black Sabbath.
There you go.
They're anything but Christian. So it's not about the Christian thing. They're just top-notch musicians, and I don't think anybody can touch them honestly musically.
Without a
Especially
doubt.
the guitar duo, Michael Sweet and Oz Fox. They're just on another level.
Yeah. And as far as the way they're performing at the moment, album-wise, there's not a band touching them now.
Right.
At the moment. Without a doubt. So I'll stop rabbiting on like I always do. So I'm really looking forward to this, mate. So we go you first. We obviously go 10 to 1, least favourite of our top 10. So they're all obviously going to be good. We give a little reason on what album it's off of, even though everyone who's watching will probably know. And then we go from there. So you're number 10 then, mate.
Okay, I'm going to start us off with a dark horse here. This is a cut so deep you probably have to have a shovel to get to it. But in 2003, they released a greatest hits album called Seven. And they included two new songs, one of which was called For You, but my pick is a song called Something. This is not a song that's widely known, but it's a song that I really like. The opening guitar has a tone that sounds a lot like To Hell with the Devil to me. The rest of the song has that modern vibe. And when I say modern, I'm talking circa 2003. If you took To Hell with the Devil and something from Reborn, put it in a blender, I think this song would be the result.
Well, I feel bad now because I haven't heard it.
You gotta hear it.
I will definitely. I will get hold of it now. I will definitely get hold of it.
You like it.
Yeah, it sounds great, mate. And what a brilliant choice as well for your number 10. I knew you would throw me.
I'll be honest, it came down to a coin toss. It was this and one other song, and this one won the coin toss. It could have just as easily been the other song, but I'm glad this one prevailed because, like I said, it's not a song that you hear a lot about.
No.
You know, you being the big fan you are, hadn't even heard it, so there's probably a lot of other people that hadn't. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking.
It's weird with Stryper. With a lot of bands as well, I sort of I left them alone for a little while. I've done this a lot, you know, through growing up, and you know, they got to a certain stage, and I think it was against the law I wasn't too keen on, and then I left them for ages, you know. And then I really came back to them when No More Hell to Pay, and then started looking back again, you know, at what I'd missed, but missed that one, obviously.
Yeah, yeah. This album was actually released before their official reunion in 2004 or whatever. But they were just kind of testing the waters, I think, with those two new songs. And
Yeah,
that one in particular, I really do like.
that's great. I'll check that out, mate. Thanks for that. Right, my number 10. Not as obscure as yours, but The Way from To Hell with the Devil.
Yeah, that's
So
all the stock right there.
this one, I was like fighting myself with this one and More Than a Man.
Yeah,
I was really fighting myself, and this was actually put on my list recently, like the last couple of days leading up to this. And you know, there's some of the, I know it's a nostalgia. I've said this before, kicking in with this To Hell with the Devil, especially with me. It was the biggest Stryper album for me when I was growing up, bigger than Soldiers Under Command, and it was a huge part all the way for the 80s for me. But the song itself, you know, maybe production-wise, all the albums back then weren't as good as the new one. You know, that streaks ahead, I think. But
right.
the intricate guitar playing on The Way and throughout some of those heavier songs on To Hell with the Devil is absolutely mad. Is it? The riff at the beginning is mad, absolutely mad. And Michael Sweet's, I was listening to the song the other day, and his scream at the end. Well, you know what I mean? I know he can do it now, but God, he got some heights back then, didn't he? He really did.
He was in a different register back then for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right, mate, that's my number 10. Your number 9.
My number 9 is Sorry from Goddamn Evil. I love that song. I just have one critique of it that causes it to be a little farther down on my list. You care to take a guess on what that critique is? I can't be the only one.
I love the song. I can't think what I don't love about it. Go on.
My only critique of that song is that cheesy ass line, maybe next time be more charming. I've never heard charming in a heavy metal song, and it just doesn't fit.
And he says it quite a bit in it, doesn't he? He says it a lot. It's one of the main.
Yeah, I wish he'd have used something a little bit edgier.
No, perhaps
I'm not a lyricist by any means.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. It does seem a bit. Now I'm going to be looking, because I haven't really thought about that. Perhaps I didn't even hear that word, but I'm going to be listening all the time now.
Yeah, that's my only critique of it. Otherwise, it's one of the most commercial sounding songs Stryper's ever done.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the Christian overtones. It's about man and woman relationships. This could have been a radio hit, you know, if anybody played Stryper on the radio.
Yeah.
I think this song would have been a good fit on Against the Law because of the subject matter. But it's just a heavy song. I love the riff. It's got a pounding drum sound. Robert is just abusing his drums in that song. And,
it's a great choice.
Yeah, I love
mate.
the song.
Great choice.
That one lyric, kind of brings it down just a little bit. Other than that, I love it.
I know what you mean. Right, my number 9, talking about commercial, off the new album, Even the Devil Believes, Invitation Only. Now this is a real grower for me, because when I first heard this, I think I was giving scores on my reactions, and it came out as an 8. And then it may be a 9, I can't remember, but then it reached 10 when it came to give my final thoughts. It just grew and grew and grew, and it was stuck in my head. When I was at work trying to get it out of my head, I couldn't. An absolutely brilliant song. And yeah, it became a 10 out of 10, and it's become my number 9 on the list of all-time Stryper songs. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, I love the, some people have been saying online about the little synth use, not too keen on the little synth in the background. I think it adds to it. It's got something about it.
Straight out of the 80s.
Yeah, and I'm obviously 80s. I'm mad on 80s, so it brought it straight back to me. And definitely, we all compare bands, don't we? I don't think any of it's done on purpose half the time. And Michael Sweet himself, he always says he's not afraid to say what he's, you know, he's inspired by. He actually says it before anyone asks. He said this one's got a Van Halen feel,
Right.
this one, and it has got a very Dokken feel to the verses.
Sure.
I can't even remember the name of the song now. It's a Dokken song off of one of the older albums. But yeah, I was singing it in my head as thinking, what is that? What is that? And then someone said it online. It's a Dokken song, but so catchy.
Yeah.
Such a 80s catchy song. Absolutely love it. So that's my number 9.
All right.
Number 8, mate.
Okay. My number 8 comes off of Soldiers Under Command, and it is The Rock That Makes Me Roll. Now, I actually prefer the re-recorded version that came off the Second Coming album, mainly because Michael's voice, to be honest, way back when, you almost had to wonder if he had reached puberty yet. On the re-recorded version, his voice has definitely aged well, has matured well, has seasoned well over the years, and I think his slightly deeper voice really helped the song a lot on the re-recorded version. That is just one of the heaviest songs of their early career. I mean, it's just bombastic. I can't even think of another name or another word to describe it. It's as heavy as anything anybody was doing at the time, and it's just one of those songs that over the years I have just grown to love even more. And like I said, the re-recorded version even appeals to me even more than the original.
Great guitar work on that one, mate. Absolutely outstanding. It's funny you said about Michael Sweet's voice. I think and I'm absolutely sure that his voice has been sped up in God We Trust album. I'm sure. Because that really sounds, sounds,
the ballad on that album, I Believe in You.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. He almost sounded like a woman on that track. Yeah, you're probably right.
I know that some bands used to do that in the 80s, speed it up a bit. I might ask him. I might actually ask him that question. he might not tell me.
I know he was not overly thrilled with the production on that album, so that could be one of the reasons why.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Okay. Good choice, mate. Excellent choice. My number 8 will be on a lot of people's lists. I've got to be a bit ordinary, I suppose, and that's off Soldiers Under Command, and it's the title track, Soldiers Under Command. It just hits you straight out of the gates, doesn't it? That guitar work as well. I love the lead melody playing over when the guitar at the beginning. I just love Soldiers Under Command. I think it just sums up the heaviness of the album. I know it's got some a lot of melody and some ballads on there as well, but that song itself, so heavy. I mean, like you said, as heavy as anything at that time, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's my like I said, it's a popular choice.
You think back to the bands that were popular around that time, Bon Jovi and Rat, and these heavier Stryper songs. They were heavier than anything the mainstream metal bands were doing. But because of that Christian connotation, they never got a chance, and it's criminal. It really is. Especially,
I'm living in England, and they was hardly known anyway. But if you did like that sort of thing, you did get ripped a bit because of them being Christians. It was just metal and Christians. It was just unheard of. It was probably worse in America, but you probably didn't even. No one even knew anyone like Stryper. You wouldn't say, because it was just, you was younger in the 80s. It wasn't probably wouldn't have been a cool thing, but it's cool now. So who cares?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right, number 7, we're at, we? Your one.
Yeah. Okay, my number 7 comes off of The Covering. It is the one original song they did called Simply God. I just absolutely love this song. This song, to me, put them back on the map as the band that they should have been. They had a bit of a misstep with Reborn. Murder by Pride was definitely a step in the right direction. But this one song, God, I remember they released an instrumental version of it before the actual song was released. I don't even think they had a name for it at the time, but they released an instrumental version of it. And I'm not a big instrumental guy, but that song could stand on its own as an instrumental. But when they put the words to it and Michael's just blistering vocal ability to that song, to me, that's the song that put them back on the map and steered the car in the right direction for what was to come.
It's a great song, man. I mean, I listened to that. I think you told me about that. You messaged me about that being an instrumental.
Yeah,
And that's
that's one of the comments.
Yeah, I mean, it is a great song, a really good one. And like you chose, that's two now you've chosen on a not an official studio type album. That's cool. That is really cool. That's great. So my choices are going to be really common. Some of these, but they are what they are, aren't they? We've got to.
Okay.
That's how you feel. So my number 7 is Free off of To Hell with the Devil. Just love it. I love this, and it's like, I think I loved Calling on You as well. But I think this is the one straight after, and it goes straight after Calling on You. And it just gives it's that little bit heavier, but still really commercial. But, it's not quite as sugary, is it, as Calling on You, but really catchy.
Yeah.
And I love it when they start off, and they start off a lot, don't they? With their songs, they start off with a solo. I love it. I absolutely love it. And that tune playing over, the main chords. Love Free, and again, big part of my childhood. Trying not to look at these songs in nostalgia so much because I've got some newer ones coming up.
Oh, it's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
It is hard. It is hard when they're such a big part of your life, without a doubt. But
when you've lived with them for so long, you can't let that not into it.
Exactly. It came on the other day in my car. I had my Stryper. I had Stryper on the MP3 player, all the albums, like just on a shuffle. And, this one came on and it was still great. In between even those new ones, still such a great song. But that's my number 7, mate. Your number 6.
One of their clever techniques with those songs back then, that song and Calling on You and several others, they had that double entendre. You didn't know if they were singing about God. You didn't know if they were singing about a personal relationship. It could go either way. They were very clever about that. And that should have allowed them to get more radio play, but unfortunately, it didn't.
And in the back of my head, when I'm hearing them saying, I love you or whatever, I'm probably thinking, when I'm, in my teens, thinking, I'm in my head, I'm thinking it's about a woman. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just the way, and
Sure.
You're right. They're right. You could perceive it either way. It doesn't really, it's how you take it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, no, it's
honestly was another good example of that.
Yeah, definitely. All right then, mate. You're number 6, I think we're at.
Number 6, the lead-off track to No More Hell to Pay, Revelation. God, the previous song I mentioned, I think paved the way so well for this album. And Revelation, it's one of those songs. It's not a fast song. It's a medium-paced song, which I know you like as well.
Yeah.
But it's so heavy. It's a medium-paced song. It's not real fast, but it's just got such a heavy tone to it. And it's a perfect song to lead that album off. And everything that follows is, stellar. But that one song there just really kicks that album off in a positive way, I think.
You know what? That was so close to my list. That was and that, like you said, I think it just proved they were back, because that just had shades of definitely Soldiers Under Command, To Hell with them guitar bits, the harmonies in it. And yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a bit of a, even though for me it was a perfect, like you said, it's the perfect sort of song to start off with. But in another way, it's strange because of the pace of the song. Look at what they bought. Look at the new album, Blood from Above. That's just out of the gates, isn't it? Revelation is sort of teases you in, doesn't it? But what a brilliant, one of my favourite songs by them. Then nearly. I don't want to give my list away, but it was so close. So close to mine.
It's so hard to narrow down 10 songs, from a band that you've been with as long as we have with these guys. And so many great albums. Unfortunately, you can't include everything in a 10-song list, but
Exactly.
yeah, it's definitely up there on my list.
Great choice, mate. Right, my number 6. It's the new one. So I've chosen the title track, Even the Devil Believes. Absolutely love this song. And this was another grower. I think I might have put it as a 9 when I first listened to it, but it went to a 10. I love the drumming on the chorus, the sort of like really old-fashioned 80s, isn't it? Like sort of, it's Robert Sweet. The drumming on that is fantastic. I just think I don't know what really grabbed me about this one was that when the chords are crashing in at the beginning and that little harmonic going over the beginning of the song, it just, yet again, the 80s it just brought it all back. And I think it's a perfect song, perfect title track.
Yeah, they know what they do well, and they seize it. They don't venture too far out of their comfort zone. They know what they do well, and they stick with that. That's a good song to show they still have their roots, but it's got that modern vibe with it as well.
Oh yeah. And the production, and I've spoken about the production lots, and I know that Michael Sweet, he can't understand, some fans look back at the 80s and say, that production's better. Just like when I said I was listening the other day, Free came on in my car, all right, it's a brilliant song, but put the production next to Even the Devil Believes, and there's no comparison. It's just nothing.
Yeah.
Still good though. For the 80s, it was a good production, but
Yeah.
All right then, mate. I think we're at number 5.
Okay, my number 5 comes off of Against the Law, and it is All for One.
Yeah.
This is easily my favorite song on Against the Law, and I love the galloping riff in that song. I just love the vibe of that song, and the lyrics are almost prophetic. I know there was a lot of turmoil in the world in 1990 when that song was written, but if you listen to the lyrics of that, it could have been written today with all the turmoil going in the world today. Take a look around. Tell me, what do you see? Is there love to be found in this world's pain and misery? I mean, that's just, it's so fitting for today, even though that song was recorded in 1990.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's by far my favorite song on that album.
It's a great song. I was, for myself, when I was younger, when it came out, I was a bit disappointed. But then again, I was a little bit disappointed in God We Trust. I wanted something heavier.
Right.
But I suppose I just wanted To Hell with the Devil as I was a kid. I just wanted that again. But I mean, I can see why you can definitely see why they changed slightly, even the lyrically with what was going on with the band and the grief they were getting from everyone. It was just ridiculous, So.
Yeah, they tried to go the secular route and try to broaden their audience, but unfortunately, it was probably too little, too late, because they were right there on the verge of the grunge movement.
Yeah.
And even though they should have made a bigger footprint, unfortunately, the times were changing, the music was changing, and they were just a little too late with that album.
Without a doubt, mate. Good album though. It's good now when you listen to it now, but back then I was disappointed. But now it's good. I know that Michael doesn't. He looks back on it as I think the direction of it, he wasn't too. It's like a jamming album, he says, and right. More than a Stryper album. But okay then, mate. I'm going not way back all the way to the beginning, but near enough. So off Soldiers Under Command again. Surrender. Love it. I absolutely love this song. So heavy. It's sort of like you said, I like medium pace songs, don't I? It's not fast. It's sometimes medium is heavier. It's sort of and that, I don't know, this has got the Oz Fox tremolo arm type thing he does, isn't it? That really, it just amazed me when I was younger. It still does now. I was waiting to hear that on the new album, but he didn't quite do it. But you know what I mean? That when it goes really high, absolutely love it. Surrender is a great song. It's a great song. And it's sort of a bit of a deeper cut, I suppose, when it comes to that album, a little bit. You know, I don't know if they play it live now or.
I don't think they played it the last 3 times I've seen them. They may throw it in occasionally, but I don't remember it recently. I've seen them twice in the last 3 years, and I don't think they played it.
It's a great song. Absolutely great song. All right, mate. Number 4.
Okay, number 4, back to Soldiers Under Command. The title track, Soldiers Under Command.
Good.
I can't say it any better than what you've already said about it, but to me, that song just really puts their stamp on their mission statement. I mean, don't get me wrong, they made it loud and clear, pardon the pun, on the first album. But this song is their true mission statement. If somebody asked me to play them one song that tells what Stryper is all about, that's the one song I would probably pick. That's probably what I would consider their signature song.
Yeah.
Even though it never got widespread airplay or anything like that song I doubt they've ever played a show when they didn't play that song.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the top 3 that they're most known for. And it's another barn burner that I can't rank it any lower. I just can't. Even though there's a lot of stuff that's come out since that I probably like as well. I've lived with that song so long, and it's been such a part of my life for so long.
And there's not many songs. Yeah, without a doubt. There's not many songs either, and that's one of them that you've heard. You've probably heard it more than me, but I must have heard it hundreds of times. But it's never going to be a skipper, that one, mate. It's always going to be left on, that one. I tell you. Okay, my number 4. So I'm going to the No More Hell to Pay album and the title track for that as well. So this, again, what a song after Revelation, isn't it, to come into? I mean, I said that Revelation reminded me of the Soldiers Under Command period. I think this one, it did even more. You know, that, again, it's a medium-paced song, which I love. And those little intricate guitar bits between the singing in the verses, you know, I just love this song, you know, and I think it's going to be a bit like Soldiers Under Command for me. It's always going to be there as a top song, one that I'll never skip.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great, and it brings everything about Stryper back, you know, how they were. How they were, but probably a bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
You know?
Took them back to their former glory, but took it to the next level.
Without a doubt, mate. Without a doubt. I've got a feeling our top ones might be similar here.
I'm thinking that way too. I'm kind of thinking that way.
Okay. You're number 3.
Number 3, and it pains me to rank this song number 3. To Hell with the Devil. For my entire life, that song has been my all-time favorite Stryper song and one of my all-time favorite songs by anybody. To this day, it makes the hair on my arm stand up when I hear it. I love that song. I have only recently discovered one little aspect of the song that slightly caused it to dip. And it's the simple fact that after the 2 verses, after the solo, they repeat "To Hell with the Devil" 6 different times. I really wish the song had a 3rd verse, or they had come up with something different to say. I feel like if that song had been written in more modern times, Michael's come a long way as a songwriter, as a lyricist. Yeah. I think he probably would have expanded it a little. But other than that, it's a perfect song. It is so heavy. Anybody that says Stryper's not heavy has never heard "To Hell with the Devil." That song is just, I'll rank it up there with any of the heavy heavy songs that anybody's ever recorded, other than death metal. And they're not the only ones that have committed that sin. I was listening to Iron Maiden a week or so ago. I was listening to Brave New World, and it dawned on me, hearing that song, he says Brave New World 8 times in a row.
Yeah.
That's another one. I just feel like saying, sing something else.
Yeah.
But other than that, The Hell with the Devil is, like I said, for my entire life, it's been at the top of my list. But they have just, over the last 10 years, they have come out with some stuff that, unfortunately, I had to put a little bit over my all-time favorite, but I still love it.
And you know what? That in the 80s, that was a big thing, repeating the chorus, wasn't it? For a lot of bands. It went on. I know I've noticed that a lot, and it has changed a lot. I mean, a lot of bands used to fade out with it, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not so much fading out now because they're thinking about the live situation, how to end the song. But God, they used to go on until it fades out, sometimes more times than that. But you ready for my number 3?
I'm ready.
Same one. I knew we'd get it. But yeah, okay. It's an anthem, isn't it? It's a proper anthem. I love it's so heavy, like you said at the beginning. I love it how it comes along. Like, so different as well, because it's with Michael just singing and the drums. And then when they all come back in again, just an absolutely brilliant, brilliant anthem. Love To Hell with the Devil, and yet again, there's a lot of medium pace songs on my list, and that's another one of them, isn't it? There's a theme going through my songs.
The way they use Abyss to lead into that song, I think is brilliant as well. I mean, that's the perfect intro for that song.
Without that.
The first 2 times I saw them live back in the 80s, they opened with that song, and you're standing there in the dark and you hear the Abyss, and you know what's coming. Mm-hmm. And when the curtain drops and they're there in all their glory and they tear into the hell with the devil, I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Brilliant. Well, I've got to say that was a good choice from both of us there. So. Right. We're getting really serious now. I've really got a bad feeling about this, though, Mark. I've really got a bad feeling that we're going to be repeating ourselves. But you go, number 2.
Okay. That's okay. My number 2, you've already mentioned. No More Hell to Pay. It is a perfect song. There is absolutely nothing in that song I would change. It is another medium paced song, but it's just so heavy. It features what may be my favorite Michael Sweet guitar solo. He's just otherworldly, and some of his screams in that song, King Diamond would be proud of those screams. I mean, Michael Sweet's voice has seasoned over the years, but he has not lost that upper register that allows him to do those blood-curdling screams. And his screams in this song are just off the charts. Love this song. There's nothing I can criticize about it. It almost made my number 1.
It's an absolutely brilliant song. Well, I put it at number 4, didn't I? And that's even saying something with their discography, So, my number 2, Yahweh. Absolutely love Yahweh. I think this is the most epic song they've done ever. Okay. It's just got all the changes in it. The way it breaks down near the end, so heavy, isn't it? It's near enough. I'm not saying it's Pantera, but it's, that guitar where it breaks down, when it slows down into that last bit. I mean, look, this is and I'm going to mention this, or I think I've mentioned it to you anyway. I think I'm ready to hear a Stryper 10, 11, 12-minute song that, and I think this is the closest they've been so far to that sort of thing, Definitely.
Yeah,
I love it. Do you like it's a classic song. I just everything about it, it's just, even from the beginning, the choir type thing at the beginning, and when it breaks into that guitar, classic.
Yeah. Okay, my number 1 is your number 2. Yahweh off of. Um, Again, I'll echo what you said, but it is a perfect song in every regard. There's nothing they can improve on in that song. Epic doesn't even come close to describing the song. I hate to say it, but I don't think they can ever top this song.
Well, I think
I
they
hope
have.
I'm wrong.
I haven't had my number one yet.
And I think I know what it's going to be, but you know, if somebody came to me that had never heard a heavy metal song in their life, had been living under a rock, and they said, "Play me two songs that exemplify the artistry of heavy metal," I would play them Master of Puppets, and I would play them Yahweh. The artistry in those two songs is just off the charts. The transitions, the seamless transitions, the cohesiveness, the heaviness, they're just, I can't think of anything better to describe what heavy metal is. And Yahweh, in my mind, if it was a piece of art, it would be Stryper's Mona Lisa. I don't think they can top it. I hope I'm wrong, because they've got a lot of life left in them.
Yeah.
But that's my number one. It's a fairly recent song, but the first time I heard it, it just blew my socks off. And again, it's one of those, as soon as I hear it, it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And yeah, that's my number one.
And I think it's a song.
Unapologetically.
Yeah, I agree. This is a brilliant song. And I think it's one of them songs, there's only one thing that sort of winds me up about the song. It's nothing about the song itself. It's that if anyone heard that song and didn't know who it was and gave it a chance, you know, you just said, listen to this, and they didn't know it was Stryper, surely they would go, that is a masterful song. And that's the problem with Stryper altogether, in it, that people won't give them a chance because of what they stand for. It's ridiculous. Right. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, if anyone heard that who's into metal, that's a real metal song. They would, they didn't know it.
If you don't like that song, you don't like heavy metal.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Absolutely. Right. My number one, I think you know what it might be, but off the new album, yeah, Do Unto Others. I just think I was blown away when I first heard this song. I just think it's so clever. It's strange because I said something about this song, and then Michael Sweet said exactly the same thing as me after I said. I'm not saying he said it because I said it, but it was really strange because when I actually reacted to this, I heard the verses, which are so heavy. The verses are so heavy, and then it goes into a really, really sad chorus, a really melancholy chorus that sounds so sad. And to have that fit into a song like that, something to go from that heavy and chugging and then something so sad, and even with the video, makes it even sadder, doesn't it? It just brings it all on. And then Michael Sweet had an interview with the Metal Voice, and he said exactly the same thing on there. He's talking about Do Unto Others. He said it's got heavy verses and then it's like a melancholy chorus. And I was like, oh, that's, great minds and all that. But I just think it's the perfect song. I think the solo blows me away. It's like the bit that I think looking at the video, Michael Sweet plays that solo. Yeah. Oz Fox is doing, like they're doing many solos in they don't play chords, they play like it's like a sort of sad sort of melody in the background, and it brings the solo right up. It makes it sound almost classical, the solo. And then even that little bit at the end, the little bit at the end on the video where it zooms in, where they all play that little fiddly bit. I'm just like, if the song couldn't get any better, they went and done something really like that little twin lead bit where they all play the same thing. I was like, wow, the absolute perfect song for me. And the production as well across that album, but it really comes out in this. It's so heavy. Love it. Do Unto Others. I don't know. It's a top spot, Top spot
Well,
for
let
me.
me say this. It pains me not to put something from the new album on my list. It really does, especially that song. That is by far my favorite on the album.
Yeah.
I also love Make Love Great Again,
Yeah.
Forgotten Rock and Roll. I think that would have been a good song for Against the Law.
Yeah.
I love the album, but I haven't lived with it long enough now because it's only been out, less than a month now. I haven't lived with it long enough for it to replace the ones I've been living with for, over 30 years in some cases.
I think
And,
what might,
a year from now,
yeah, I think what might have helped
a year
me.
from now, my list may change, but
Yeah. You might, yeah, like you said, everything changes over time, doesn't it? Especially new albums. But I think maybe me starting this channel and listening to them the way I did maybe made it even more special for me. That might be why I've got 3 songs in my 10. It's a lot, isn't it?
yeah.
For a new album. So, no, that was great. Right, we're going to quickly do just the titles of them, mate. If you've got any honourable mention, I'm sure you want to mention a few.
I've got a whole list, but I'll limit it to 5. The Valley, Pride, Reborn, which lost the coin toss to my number 10. I'm not crazy about that album as a whole, but I love that song. Murder by Pride, the title track, and The Way. I've got a whole list of others, but the 5 honorable mentions that I'll throw out there.
They're great. They're great. Right, I've got The Valley, same as you.
Yep.
I've got Revelation. Nearly made it to my list, mate.
Yep.
I've got The One. I absolutely love The One from No More Hell to Pay. He's from No More Hell to Pay, yeah. And More Than a Man, which I've already mentioned, haven't I? Because that nearly made it. And the last one I've got is First Love.
Okay.
Oh, I love that song. It's another really sort of sad song, isn't it? It's very sad sounding. Brilliant song.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, we could do a whole list just on the great Stryper ballads.
Yeah.
My list was pretty much the heavier stuff.
Yeah.
But I love all their ballads for the most part, and I could make a whole list just on the ballads. But
yeah,
I'm a little more toward the heavier side in my top 10. But yeah, they do some great ballads.
There's some great choices there, mate. Absolutely brilliant choices. Right, got to wrap it up there, mate. I really enjoyed having you on.
Yeah, man, thanks.
And you're up for some more videos, hopefully, with me. No, that'd be great. Right, okay. So hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Red button down the bottom right-hand corner, and put any comments. Your favourite Stryper tracks, are they the same as mine and Mark's? Are they a bit different? What do you think of our choices? See you next time.